And that's why I'll never text while riding a camel again. Ah, we're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome along. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'll say good evening a few more times as people start entering the room. This is the Association of Professional Property Investors. My name's Simon Evison. Good evening, people, as you're arriving. Take a seat, settle in. Get comfortable. Faces you can see on screen, I'll introduce as we go along. The founder and CEO, Lindsay Hopkins, wave now, please. I'll be speaking to Lindsay first off to explain what the Association of Professional Property Investors is all about. So just as we've got people coming in and getting settled and getting ready, this evening will run around about 45 minutes or so, just so as you know. It shouldn't go any longer. I say around about. I'm not going to say around about and an hour and 15 minutes in still be waffling away. As I sort of am at the moment. All right, so again, welcome everybody to this webinar from the Association of Professional Property Investors. My name is Simon Evison, and this evening I'm going to be talking to a number of guests. First of all, the founder and CEO of the association, Lindsay Hopkins. Good evening, Lindsay. How are you?
Good evening, and welcome everybody listening in. Hi, Simon. How are you doing?
Great, thank you very much. Now, we're only about a stone's throw apart. I mean, we are actually neighbours. Well, a stone's throw if you say somebody like Steve Backley.
Yeah.
All right, so by the end of this webinar, everyone, you will understand what the A.P.P.I is all about, how you can get involved and how it will benefit you. But first, Lindsay, let me come to you and ask a simple question. What is the A.P.P.I all about? A.P.P.I all about?
Yeah, okay. The A.P.P.I is a community. It's a network. It's a gathering. It's a collaboration and it's a non-for-profit organisation. It's independent, so no government body or council or education organisation or whatever beats our drum. We stand on our own 2 feet together. We launched in November last year. Membership is growing, and the whole point is it's a protective community for investors, built by investors. And when I say investors, I mean it could be landlords, it could be people who are quite simply in the property business on a rent-to-rent or service accommodation basis. It could be developers. It's anybody who's in essence come through the multi-channels of property education, possibly finished all their courses years ago, and then thought, blimey, what now? Who do I speak to now who has got no, dare I say it politely, no agenda? Okay. So that's what the A.P.P.I is.
So it's open to all levels of investor. It's not
yes,
one particular focusing on one particular strategy.
Yeah.
In being a member, how is it beneficial?
Okay, firstly,
we are going to deep dive into this, by the way, and I'm going to ask similar questions to our other guests. But Lindsay, give us your take on it first off.
Let me just highlight 2 things for now in that case. Firstly, the opportunity to get involved with continuous professional development, so continued learning, again, without any cost or agenda. And that's the first thing. So the ability to tap in and continually improve and keep up to date with the world of property and landlording, if you like. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I guess, protection. So we want to be mutually protective of each other, to make sure that if you get into trouble or somebody harms you or somebody is unnecessarily having a go at you, you've got somewhere as a property investor to go and some people to talk to. So protection and CPD. I'm going to kick off with those 2. They're two biggies that we offer for our community.
Terrific. All right, well, let's see how some of those work in practice. With us, the first guest I'm going to call on is Diane Goulding. Good evening, Diane.
Good evening, Simon.
Now, you were involved in property some time ago, then you took a little bit of a break, and now you've sort of ventured back in. Tell us about your investing experience so far.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago that I did the property courses. I had buy-to-lets. However, I was running another business then, and that just escalated, and we really concentrated on that because it gave us what we needed at that time. Last sort of October, November time, I was approached about A.P.P.I, and I had a look at it and it got very excited about it, and got on board with the board member. And since then, lots of things have changed. I'm now selling a property, buying a property. I'm using the library and the videos to regain the information and the education that I've sort of lost, which has been brilliant. And the big thing that's happening for me at the moment is estate agents work for me. So I negotiate their fees. We negotiate their fees and the terms and everything like that, and our expectations. And that's been very confidence building, and that's because of A.P.P.I.
Fantastic. So your confidence has grown, definitely. So before you knew about things like the library and that great nugget of information there, estate agents work for you, what was it in particular? Was there something in particular that compelled you to join?
Also the networking element of it, because it can be quite intimidating going into networking groups. I don't know whether that's just especially being a woman, but it can be intimidating. I was invited to one recently by Lindsay, and I went on, and I must admit, at first I thought, I'm an imposter here. These people are doing amazing things and they're so advanced, and their passion was just incredible. But it became very inclusive, and people were talking to me, and I'm getting to meet up with people and talk with people about entrepreneur businesses. So it's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And again, there was no agenda, just come along and introduced me to people who I found fascinating.
I think you said imposter. I think everybody gets a bit of imposter syndrome from time to time at networking events, especially if you walk in and it's in full flow and everybody seems to be having the time of your life, and you sort of sidle in and go, hello, and hope so, thinking, please somebody come and talk to me. Please somebody come and talk to me.
I'm the opposite. I said, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. But they do, and I'm like, okay, you're humans. This is good. There's no agenda. So it's really, really good.
Is there anything then since your involvement that you would pick out as being the most useful thing that's really enhanced your career?
Buddying. The buddying element is absolutely brilliant. Connecting with other members of A.P.P.I. The website will have you're able to go on and look for investors and landlords in the particular area that you're interested in, or locally. I mean, I had the great honor of meeting up with Amit, and his projects are just absolutely incredible. They just blew my mind, but they're incredibly inspiring. And then lo and behold, we find out we only live 5 miles from each other. So I'll be popping along and going to see some of his great projects. So the buddying system has been really useful for me.
Well, that's something quite specific that seems quite unique to A.P.P.I. How does it work? Is it sort of I imagine it's not quite a 24-hour sort of thing where you can, in the middle of the night, it's 2:30, you've just woken up, you've been lying there thinking, how am I going to make it? It's not quite that, is it? Or
no,
is it?
It's definitely not 24/7. It's something that's going to be built on. It's part of the website, members only website, that you go in and you can look at particular areas where you're investing, or if you want to meet up with people more locally and share ideas and joint ventures, looking at people who are looking for particular strategies, it's all going to be part of that, and then you connect with them.
So it's a very supportive sort of system then, is what I'm getting from that. Yeah.
Yes.
Does it make you accountable?
Sorry, say that again.
Does it make you accountable to others?
I think it inspires you and you want to be part of it. If you're around inspiring people, it's almost like osmosis. You just want to, you can't help it. You just go taking on the journey with them. But there is a part of accountability if that's what you want, if that's what that's part of it.
So you've gained a lot of knowledge then since you returned to property and also getting involved with A.P.P.I. I think you can often feel a bit sort of lost in the property industry. It's sort of a big world, and you can, you know, perhaps do your training or get a bit of education, do a course somewhere, and then think, what next?
What next? Yeah.
Yeah. So how much more confident, I mean, you said you feel confident, how much more confident do you feel knowing you've got a buddy system there and you've got, you know, people within the network, within A.P.P.I to call on?
It really does build your confidence, because I know we had recently our first Solve My Property Problem network event via Zoom, and it was just so good, and you felt so relaxed that no question was a dumb question. It really didn't matter, and everybody just gave so much information. I learned so much from that. I really did. And we've also got I'll probably call it, Ron, like a bulletin board where you can ask questions and people will pop on and give their different views, because different parts of the country can have different quirks and different strategies. So again, that's another thing for members to have, the board that you can pop in and ask a question, and one of these wonderful board members will help you.
Great. There was somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said the dumb question is the question you don't ask.
Yeah. Yes.
So Diane, thank you.
Everybody else wants you to ask it as well, but nobody wants to.
There's usually about 3 other people in the room of 20 or so that want that question asking. Well, thank you very much for giving us some insights there, Diane.
Thank you, Diane.
I'm already thinking people will be, you know, getting very interested in the confidence building aspect. As I said at the beginning of the webinar, Lindsay will show you how you can benefit from the A.P.P.I, how you can get involved, and certainly some of those things that Diane talked about. So coming back to you, Lindsay, or if I may, for a moment before.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. Thank you.
Before we introduce our next guest, let me ask you, anyone can join, can't they?
Yeah.
Do you vet people first, don't you? Can you talk me through the vetting process?
Yeah, I mean, vetting sounds a bit punchy, a bit harsh. Basically, we want to double check. What we want to do is know a little bit about you. That will help on the buddying system, because as you probably gathered from Diane, basically you go onto the website. Firstly, by the way, go onto the website tonight to join, obviously, A.P.P.I. You can Google it, on you go, and you become a member straight away. That's great. I'll tell you some benefits for joining tonight. But the vetting is literally just asking you questions about what you're up to, where you're operating, because you may well not be operating in your area of investment, may not be the area where you live. So we just simply want to know who you are, what you do, what sort of education you've had, if any. The education is not compulsory, of course. We're not judging you on the number of courses you've got involved in, or masterminds or mentorships. We just want to know about you. And the benefit there is so that we can, when you ask for help, we can direct people and the appropriate help for you. We're not credit searching you. We're not referencing you too heavily. We may actually ask if 1 or 2 people know you. That's nice that you're what we call a good person and true. And another reason for the vetting, by the way, very, very, very briefly, is as the association progresses, we are going to have tiered levels of membership based on individuals' experience, similar to every trade organisation and association that's out there. So by sharing with us where you've got to and what you've done, that'll help us invite you to the right tier when that system is launched. So that's another reason.
So the vetting then, it's like you say, it's not sort of what did you say? It's not a serious thing, but it's kind of
It's not a serious interrogation. It's certainly not.
interrogation.
It's certainly not a credit check or anything like
Yeah.
that. We're not a bank or building society.
And the idea is that you get to know somebody so that you can connect them with other people
Yeah.
that can help them, that can perhaps be their buddies, can be,
If we can.
yeah, that sort
If
of
we can, yeah.
scenario. So it's about, yeah, linking people.
Yeah, it's
All right.
friendly, informationally based linking. Yes.
Let's put that on the website.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's welcome our next guest who has passed the vetting system. Toby Spanier, good evening. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Evening,
Good.
Toby.
Evening.
Now, you've been investing a little bit longer than Diane, haven't you? When did you start out in property?
Started 5 years ago, and this was back in the day of, Section 24 was new. I decided to go into the HMO strategy. So I bought lots of single-let houses and convert them into HMOs. And then I sort of progressed from there, and now I've gone back to basics. I'm doing the simple buy-to-lets, distressed properties, bring them back into use, and also buying commercial buildings and converting the upper parts to flats as well.
Okay, so what was it about A.P.P.I that made you get involved? Was there a specific aspect in the very beginning that you thought, that's really going to help me support my investing career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what's different about the A.P.P.I is it is, as Lindsay said, not for profit. It hasn't been set up with an agenda to make money. It is just there for investors, set up by investors. It hasn't been set up by a letting agent or a estate agent. It's been set up by people just like me, to help people just like me. And in terms of where I'm in my career, I want to be surrounded by other investors, but also when I have a problem, I want to be able to get access to other investors and liaise with people who are more experienced than me to solve problems. I used to go to, unbelievably, 7 monthly networking meetings. 7. Okay, that's quite a lot. I now go to 1 monthly meeting, and that's the A.P.P.I, because I don't feel I need to go elsewhere. And what's different about it, we had our session last week. It's we're not trying. The A.P.P.I is not trying to sell training, so it's not trying to sell wares. It's not got a whole bunch of suppliers who come on and pitch to you. So the agenda is just for the members. And our session last week, we just answered questions that investors had, ranged from all sorts of things. As Diane said, there are no stupid questions. We had questions around how to improve EPC, how to be ethical with tenants, all sorts of different problems that people have. You can't go to a normal networking event and put your hand up and say, "Oh, I'm having this problem. Can 5 people who are really experienced give me the answer?" That just doesn't happen. So that, other than at the A.P.P.I, and that's something I really like, and I get a lot of value from it.
There's lots of problem solving at these events then, and there are so many challenges that professional landlords face. So my next question is a bit sort of twofold, really. What are the main challenges landlords face, and is there a way that A.P.P.I can help?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big challenge for property investors is just the amount of regulation that has come down the line in such a short period of time. And I think there are other groups out there that are really good at advising you from a legal perspective on exactly what you are legally allowed to do or legally not allowed to do. But they are rather, as I say, legal. Now, they basically say, well, this is what the case that the law says, and therefore you can't do this, but you can do that. And what I really need is someone to translate that into a practical, well, how do I go about it? What do I do? Do I phone the tenant? Do I send them an email? Do I knock on their door? What do I say? And getting that more practical advice is something that comes through the A.P.P.I, because everyone who's involved in it is a property investor of various levels of experience. And I just like the ability to get access to people from who have got the same strategy as you or a different strategy to you, and just got a lot of experience and get different ideas about how to solve problems that I face. And I think that is different to just asking a solicitor on what can I do. I mean, they'll tell you the law, but not what is the best way for me to go about that to achieve what I want to do.
Well, isn't there an old saying or something about you put three solicitors around the table and they'll all have a different opinion on the letter of the law. So yeah.
It's just the practical tips, that I find really useful. And as I said, I used to go to 7 networking events, but I never got that kind of content or that kind of connectivity. So for me, that network and the ability to connect with people and, 100% of the time being spent talking about property and things that can help me is what attracts me and keeps me involved.
So from 7 events just to 1 big event a month.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I say that because you wanted to mention another big event that A.P.P.I have got on annually.
I do.
Just before we came on.
Yes, indeed. I mean, obviously, we're meeting virtually, but that isn't the intention all the time. And we are in the process of planning our annual event, which will be a physical event. It'll be a celebratory event. It'll be in a nice hotel somewhere. I can't announce exactly where it is. We're still going through the booking process, but it'll be like a black tie thing. There'll be some awards for new joiners into property and more established people as well. And it'll just be a fun environment for us to all meet up and see each other and have a bit of a laugh.
Yeah,
and maybe a little bit of networking as well.
Yeah.
Indeed,
problem solving, but more about having fun. So I'm guessing then towards the end of the year, maybe on the first year anniversary of A.P.P.I.
Absolutely, that's when we're going to do it.
All right. Well, I'm having spoken to 2 different investors, 2 of you so far, different levels. It's clear investors from any level can benefit. So thank you, Toby, for your input. Now, I know people want to know how to get involved, and we will come to that shortly. But Lindsay, I asked Toby there how A.P.P.I, well, he actually told us, he preempted a question I was going to have, which was how A.P.P.I is different from other organisations. How do you see it as being different to other groups, other established bodies that there are out there?
Okay, I think it is the created by investors for investors. I don't think it's the combination of a collection of associations all smashed together. I think it's been created as a pure investors community. So I think the massive difference is we have no agenda. We're looking to ourselves. We're looking to protect ourselves. We're looking, the bigger we are, the louder our voice will become. And our vision is the ability to communicate with lenders and say, hello, excuse me, we are a group of people who are professional, have a code of conduct, we have standards. How about some deals? So for example, some commercial viability there with reference to lenders. I don't know, let me give you an example. Softer and kinder underwriting from big lenders who may well be giving, I don't know, by the way, I need to manage your expectations, but they may well be giving different rates or different deals for A.P.P.I members. In addition to that, the ability to communicate with members of government, be it House of Commons, House of Lords, councils, our position of independence will give us that voice. But it's not just outward looking, it's inward looking. The ability for an investor to think, it's come up twice this evening already, but okay, fine, I've done all my courses, but what now? Who can I talk to? It's answering that question. Who can I talk to? Who can help me? And who can I help? Because the more successful we become, we all know that as you rise up whatever definition of success you have, giving back is definitely one of the things that we all think about. So yeah, it's very exciting. There's a lot of words I've used there, Simon, but hopefully it's a mood of collaborative help, protection, community.
So you talked about commercially, you'll be looking for some commercial partners, but also on a legislative level with local councils and with central government. Are you going to be inviting them to join or to sort of be consultants in some way, sharing, sort of keeping you up to date with, because I mean councils, they can change their licensing laws, you know, I mean one council can be different from the council next door on selective licensing, Article 4, all that sort of stuff. are you wanting to be closely working with those sorts of
Yeah,
people?
and our vision going forward, and things are evolving all the time, which is exciting. Is so within the board members, some of whom you're listening to this evening, the subcommittees will be liaising with the likes of lenders, the likes of lawyers, the likes of councils, the likes of the House of Commons, believe it or not, indeed even the House of Lords. So in answer to your question, no, they won't become members, but we will have a strong relationship with those people. And like I say, the bigger we are, the louder our voice will become, and the more clout. Because I think sometimes property investors out there are not heard. They're possibly misjudged.
Yes, I think that's very true. And you know, a lot of them, they just get on with what they're doing, and you know, perhaps struggle through with legislation and fall foul of it at times. So
yeah, I mean they might put up with legislation, whereas if they're part of a larger collaborative voice, we have the ability to say, hang on a minute, we're not overly happy with that. Why don't you do it this way? Or when we can see the government heading towards perhaps a bit of legislation, whether it's, I get confused with green paper, white paper, blue paper, whatever, but at least we can start communicating with them while perhaps policies are being formulated, rather than just thinking, oh, right, okay, another bit of legislation.
I mean, as we're on legislation, I know there's a big chunk of landlords out there who are fed up with legislation and are looking to sell. And is that where A.P.P.I can help them not to sell, but to sort of stay within the industry and maybe turn around something that they have got really fed up with?
Yeah, I think potentially, Simon. I think perhaps rather than feeling lonely, which a lot of investors do, perhaps a little bit of it more involvement with the community will help a lot of landlords out there. And perhaps, I mean, one of the things that hasn't come across this evening is, as a result of becoming a member of the A.P.P.I, which I hope everybody listening to will do this evening by going onto the website and committing to 20 quid a month or £200 a year at the moment. So that will be the perfect output and result for me, which is for you to become a member by 9 o'clock this evening, lovely people listening. But the people who this community, perhaps it's a chance for people who are thinking about exiting the property world to just get re-involved.
Well, somebody who is very much involved is our next guest. So let's talk now to A.P.P.I Malhotra. Are you there? Please say hello.
I am indeed. Hi, Simon.
I knew you were there all along. I could see you. So, same as the other guests, I think it'd be great to hear how you got involved in property and the sort of strategies that you've got involved in over the years.
Yeah, sure, Simon. Hi, welcome all. So I'm A.P.P.I Malhotra. I got into property coming up to about 14 years now as a buy-to-let investor. I could only afford studio flats, and I slowly grew the portfolio as a buy-to-let investor, but I was always interested in growing. So from buy-to-lets, we then moved on to HMOs, house of multiple occupancy. We then moved on to commercial conversions. And for the people that know me, I like a challenge. So I moved on to office to resi, and then further new build development. More recently, building from out of grounds, and recently taking advantage of the PD law, where you've got commercial conversions. So it's definitely been a journey, but all I say, it's exciting, challenging, and I am goal driven.
Yeah, Diane said you were doing some amazing things. Sounds like it. Fantastic. So a huge depth of knowledge in property investing then. Why were you attracted to A.P.P.I? You know, some would say outwardly, what does he need this for? He's got it all going on, you know.
Yeah, well, all I say is when you think you're at the top of the chain, that's when you've got to look within and see, well, actually, there's more. You know, what I've noticed is I've done a hell of a lot of networking, and in my earlier years, I always was looking for a networking group where I could just ask stupid, dumb questions and not feel embarrassed. And you know, over the years, I've made lots of mistakes, and with A.P.P.I and the board members, the amount of integrity that they have, I thought, well, this is a great opportunity for me to now give something back to the more novice property investors. At the same time, it's amazing how much I've actually gained from it, because there's people within this group who actually are a lot more experienced than me. So, you know, sometimes I'm asking the dumb questions and people are saying, well, Amit, you know, you should have known that. And I'm like, well, you know, you'd be surprised. Sometimes the simple questions are the ones that you forget.
So a lot more of the sharing and the collaborative element that we've talked about there. When you first got involved, was there a key aspect or something that really attracted you that you liked, that you could highlight, that you thought, yes, that's really going to be, that's the reason why I should get involved? Yep.
So as I said, I've been in multiple networking events. It can be quite daunting, you know, talking to people, giving your story. So for me, this was more for a give back. You know, a lot of novice property investors want to understand what development's all about. Should they get into it? And so for me, I thought, well, actually, this is a great opportunity to really give back. And I believe in power of attraction. You know, what you give is what you get. So, you know, that's just the way the universe works. So, you know, I think this is a great opportunity to be part of something actually amazing, because most networking events that I've been to, there's usually some sort of hidden agenda, whatever it might be. It's courses, it's sales, but here what I've noticed is that actually it's collaborating. It's, you know, just talking to people, having integrity with asking questions, getting great answers. And, you know, that's what you need, especially, you know, property, you know, can be very daunting. And it was for me when I first started. And as you grow, you know, you learn more, and then you ask different questions and you don't have the answers to. So it's an opportunity to speak to all levels of individuals, and that's why I think it's perfectly placed.
So we've talked a lot about different levels of investor and the professional landlord, but just to reiterate, this isn't an organisation only for portfolio landlords, is it? It's for new investors as well. They can join. Is there something that they could benefit from straight away? Definitely.
Well, all I say is, you know, this is an opportunity for people who may only have one property, who are just getting on the ladder. You know, all those dumb questions which you may need answering, or just having a buddy to say, you know what, I'm looking to do this. What are your thoughts? Why not learn from others' experiences rather than making the mistake yourself? I wish I had this 14 years ago, because I would have been a lot further. And now I think, well, actually, this is a great opportunity to get some of the less experienced investors to where I am and a lot further than me in half the time.
Well, I think at the next networking event, there's going to be a lot of new investors asking you lots of questions, because you've clearly got loads to share, and your willingness to share it is terrific. So thank you very much, Amit, for this evening. I can see here, Lindsay, a collaborative community, and it represents a really dynamic, proactive community. So, and it's clear that you're very strong, you have a very strong emphasis on a networking collaboration.
Yeah.
Was that the foundation point, do you think?
I think the foundation point and the reason why A.P.P.I. and the vision grew was essentially the fact that a lot of people, after the initial progression through education or whatever, they get lonely. They may actually outgrow the networks that they were in, and therefore it's this ability to stand up and be counted with a code of conduct, which I would like to think everybody would be prepared to have. Mm-hmm. And it's a bigger network, and it's an independent network rather than perhaps the world they started off in. So it does answer the what now. It does answer the I'm lonely as a property investor. It does answer the who can I get hold of for a bit of help to maybe move up to a different strategy. It does answer the who can I get to help if I'm running against perhaps potentially a bit of legal issues and so on and so forth, so a bit of protection. So it's all of those things which you can read clearly in your own time on the A.P.P.I. website. I guess I need to be quite clear about the intention of well, yourself, but obviously the three other board members who've come on this evening. We would like you all to, for those of you listening this evening, to go onto the A.P.P.I. website and to join us. Why? Because at the moment our membership is an amazing value. It's £20 a month or £200 per annum. The people who sign up this evening, it'll take you 2 minutes, will be invited to have a 15-minute chat with one of the board members, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. The monthly networking meetings, we've already alluded to, they're Zoom meetings at the moment. Potentially they will be face-to-face, but geographical spread-wise, I think a 1 hour, 90-minute forum to ask questions, not be embarrassed, have a panel of genuine experts is a bit of a treat. And therefore, I think potentially it will remain as a Zoom so that we're not geographically limited or not limiting you geographically. You can just jump on. Our vision is to clock the recordings and clock the questions so you can go back and backtrack and go into our information library. Yeah, and we want members. We want you to become members. Get involved. Have a look at the benefits on the website.
Well, 20 quid, Lindsay. I mean, it sounds terrific value, and you've talked a lot about benefits. And Diane did touch on a library. Can you talk us through some of the bullet points of the benefits that are there?
Yeah. Okay. So, firstly, by joining the A.P.P.I, you will have protection, so you will have the ability to use the board of directors for advice and help if you get into any altercations or arguments. You have the direct ability to have a voice to councils and indeed the government. You'll have independent networking ability. You'll have there is going to be, but it's not in place yet. The skeleton is there ready for you. A progressive membership structure, so you can move up from, if you like, member to associate member, fellow, and so on and so forth, based on your experience. It's an honest and open forum. We have a very aggressive plan to gain some serious commercial benefits for you, the members. So, for example, the biggest bridging company Together are already giving us a serious discount on your first deal, working with them. There's a superb software system called Stack, which is being introduced to all members as well. There's access to industry advisors. There's a recommended reading list. We've got a preferred trader, or if you like, trusted trader panel. The benefits they're huge, and it should be and it will be a one-stop shop. Are we adding to it all the time? Yes. Are we evolving all the time? Yes. Why? Because like I say, it's one of my mantras. The bigger we get, the louder the voice and the more we can do. And therefore, that's why I do want you all listening this evening to join. Is that a sell? No, not really. It's an invitation. So there.
I think there was a couple of reasons why there, Lindsay, but why do you do this?
I do this because I love the idea of the independence. I love the idea of having no agenda or having to blow the bugle for one particular regiment or one particular organization. I think an independent voice is fair play. And also, gosh, it sounds a bit twee, but I've been in the property business directly since 2004, and it is, as Amit said, it is an opportunity to give back and help.
And it's ever changing as well. So the more people involved, the more knowledge there is of sharing, and the more you can collaborate. Now, some of the eagle-eyed people watching will have noticed in the chat box somebody called Michelle who keeps answering questions. I think she's going to put a link up to that website any moment now, because Lindsay said to join. I think so.
Yeah. If you
I
can, Michelle, that'd be lovely.
Yeah. And then, like you said, Lindsay, it's 20 quid to join up, go through to the website and get involved and start benefiting, if nothing else, from the 3 guests that we've heard from so far this evening.
Yeah, and while you're about to click and join, and firstly, welcome. There will be a monthly networking forum for we held it for 60 minutes last time. It'll be 90 minutes the next time. It is literally just soft, no agenda Q&A. Pick the brains of the board members. There are 7 or 8 of us will be present. A chance for no embarrassment sort of problem solving. So I look forward to you joining and becoming members. Like I say, we're repeating myself really, but the bigger the membership becomes, the more clout we have, the more we can do for you, and the more we can do for each other.
Yeah, and the link is there in the chat box now, folks. So if you are ready to get involved, then click on that. I'll just say a quick thank you to Diane. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Diane.
And Toby, thank you.
Thank you, Toby.
Amit as well. Great to
Thank you,
have
Amit.
all of you.
Thank you all.
And thank you, Simon.
Well, thank you. And remember, these people are at the networking events. So if you want to benefit and get to know them a bit better, once you've joined up, you know, if HMO is your thing, if commercial to resi is your thing, if being Diane's buddy is your thing, or if you want Diane to be your buddy even, then
Don't.
then yeah, get involved with A.P.P.I. and start reaping the benefits. And Lindsay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You did very well considering.
Thank you, and thank you all very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
And it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.